5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
This is About Space, America's return to space, with news and information on our U.S. space program. Is your host of About Space, David Denault.
Welcome, and thanks for joining me today. Well, if you listened to our program last week, NASA awarded a $1.4 million grant to the Center for Theological Inquiry at Princeton University and enlisted 24 priests and theologians to prepare us for a possible alien first contact. Join me and my special guest to answer What If Aliens? Next, as America and the world is listening to About Space Today. Ever dream of an island getaway at an all-inclusive resort? Or going on an island-hopping cruise to multiple island destinations? See sun-bleached beaches and swim in the azure waters of the Caribbean Sea. Call today for your special discount prices to your island getaway. This is a special offer for About Space by calling 877-747-8631. And let's go and explore the islands of the Caribbean. Welcome back. What if aliens? Just listen to this montage of voices, and some you will easily recognize.
I think it's terrifying. I mean, this seems potentially like one of the biggest stories of my lifetime. And I don't care if it's about UFOs or whatever you call it. Something that we don't understand is getting very close to our military aircraft.
The technologies related to energy generation should come out first.
This hybrid aerospace underwater craft is able to basically generate an electromagnetic field.
It is President Trump's belief that the United States must remain as dominant in space as we are on land and sea and the air. And your charge is to see to that mission with the United States Space Force.
With a lot of people that would like to know what's going on.
It's a matter of national security.
But apparently, just recovered are off-world vehicles not made on this Earth.
The president will respond to the subject the way they want them to.
Everybody's asking the biggest question in the world. Are we alone?
Come on, bro. There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude.
American ufologist and foremost authority on extraterrestrials, Dr. Stephen Green, adds,
The problem is that the public has to be informed and involved. But the people who are surrounding that level of our politicians and government are not told. Like the movie Independence Day, where Will Smith goes, let's go kick alien butt.
My distinguished guests today include Pastor David Stauffer of Morrison United Methodist Church in Leesburg, Florida, and astronomer, scientist, and director of the Emil Buehler Planetarium in Sanford, Florida, Derek Demeter. Welcome, and thanks for joining me today. Let me begin with Pastor Stauffer. What are your thoughts on the NASA study?
I think it's a good idea. I mean, throughout human history, spirituality has been an important part of basically every culture on the planet, whether they believe in a deity or not. Religion's been there. And we have every right to assume that any aliens that we come across out there, they're going to have some sort of religious system, philosophies, and so on. So I think it's a good idea, because if we're going to make contact with people from other places, or people, and I use that loosely, but they would bound to have similar kind of ideas that way.
Derek, as an astronomer and scientist, what do you think?
No, I definitely agree with what David has mentioned in his analysis, that these extraterrestrial beings are going to be developing their own cultures, and of course with that through religion and their scientific endeavors. So I think it's important that we investigate, and kind of prepare for this, because if it does happen, not say if, but when, because even if we're talking millions of years in the future, we have to have some type of contingency plan on when the time comes and we have a chance to have interactions with extraterrestrial intelligence.
So another question, what if aliens? Pastor Stauffer, there you are on a Sunday morning greeting parishioners, and all of a sudden the news breaks. How do you explain aliens to them?
I would just simply say that God has been a creating God all along. Didn't just stop with us. I think it'd be very arrogant of us to assume that God just made us and quit. Science has been teaching us that the universe is far bigger than we ever thought it was. The newer telescopes and radio telescopes, I don't even, Derek could tell you better about that, but we see things that we never dreamed of 30, 40 years ago. In fact, when I was a kid, it seemed like the universe was very limited. Now, the number of galaxies that exist and so on. I think that's why having multiple disciplines looking at this is a good idea, because we have different questions. I'm approaching it from there's a creator, that we're all made by this creator, whether we're the same style of life form or not. And then we have that in common. And science has these different questions, which I love what Derek was saying a while ago about the different questions that science would approach would be, and particularly learning how to communicate on Earth. We have a hard enough time with that with our own species.
Thank you both for joining me today to help us answer the question, what if aliens? My distinguished guests today have been Pastor David Stauffer of Morrison United Methodist Church from Leesburg, Florida, and Derek Nimeter, director of the Emil Buehler Planetarium in Sanford, Florida. And as a reminder, join Dawn Meyer this Friday for another America in Space program, and have your family and friends join us each week. Follow us on Facebook at aboutspace.today for launches and landings. And to all our listeners around the globe and here in the U.S., thank you for joining me. I'm David Denault, and this has been About Space Today.